Hello and welcome to another episode of the Otaku Experience over here on the Burnettwork. I'm of course your host, Israel. In this episode, we're going to discuss the rights dispute over Dragon Ball after Akira Toriyama's passing. Lycoris Recoil's rumored project has been announced, and it's 6 episodes. And a former Kodansha editor has been sentenced for killing his wife. After we discuss the stories, we'll talk about this week's summer anime audience rankings, and finally, we'll get into the comments written by you guys from the last episode. And with all that being said, let's get right into the show. Something I noticed as I was putting this episode together, hi by the way, is that this episode is just like a sad episode of the Otaku Experience. Like, you'll see it, and I'm sure you heard it during like the little preview I do at the beginning. But this is a very, like, there's like one exciting story and everything else sucks. It's just not the greatest week of news. There was a lot of stuff that I couldn't put into this show. So very packed week. So that's why I always recommend that you guys follow the news on your own. So there was a lot I had to cut out, but still, I mean, there was so much manga news. There was a lot of manga news this week, but also just a bunch of like sad and not like the best, like no stories really that I was like, yeah, which I usually like to have like at least one of those, but didn't happen this time. But anyway, so this is going to be a fun episode. One of the biggest tragedies in pop culture this year was the death of the beloved author of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, and his work, his life, and his legacy will be remembered for a long time. But it seems like some people are trying to ruin that as they fight for the rights of his work like vultures. And the article I'm using for my source for this story is from CBR, where first at the top of it, they link this Twitter post from @Super Chronicles, and the tweet says, Dragon Ball IP is currently stuck in a battle for its rights after Akira Toriyama's unfortunate passing. Check out this very important article in this week's weekly Toyo Kezai for details. And then reading this is the thing that was huge, was this, like, I guess, screenshot from the magazine where it says, frenzy and chaos surrounding Dragon Ball money, battle for rights after the death of the author. Since its serialization began in 1984, Dragon Ball has remained a highly lucrative IP that continues to captivate people, according to the app research company Sensor Tower. The 2 Dragon Ball mobile games, including Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, which began distribution in 2015, have surpassed a worldwide total revenue of 5 billion yen by February 2024. The movie Dragon Ball Superhero, released in 2022, achieved a box office global revenue of 13 billion yen. In Saudi Arabia, a theme park of comparable scale to Tokyo Disneyland is also set to be constructed, and there they have an image of a new anime series, Dragon Ball Daima, will start this year in fall 2024. In March, the original author, Akira Toriyama, passed away, much to the regret of many. However, the momentum of Dragon Ball shows no signs of slowing down and continues to accelerate worldwide. Regarding its appeal, these involved unanimously agree it's the simplicity. When we analyzed why the games became hits in North America, it seemed that the straightforwardness of let's fight to see who is the strongest can be enjoyed without much thought, resonated with people. An insider from Bandai Namco Group, who I believe holds the rights to the manga. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that's the case. Major uproar due to person in charge going independent. Last year, there was an incident that caused an uproar in the business over this work. In May 2023, Akio Iyoko, former head of Shueisha's Dragon Ball Room, went independent with several subordinates and established a new company, Capsule Corporation Tokyo, named after a fictional company that appears in the series. With the aim of managing creative activities and handling intellectual property rights, Mr. Ioku became the head of Dragon Ball Room in 2016 after serving as editor-in-chief of V-Jump. A Shueisha insider recalls, without consulting his superiors, Mr. Ioku unilaterally decided to make a film adaptation of Toriyama Sensei's Sandland, which we've been talking about for a bit this past year. He always focused on serving the author, for better or for worse. At the same time, there was criticism from anime production companies and TV networks that he had a condescending attitude. In addition to these evaluations, progress was lacking in all collaborations with the metaverse and AI that the higher-ups were anticipating. As a result, in 2022, he was reassigned to a new business department. This unwelcome transfer became the trigger, and within a year, Ioku went independent. Taking over the role of Toriyama's spokesperson on behalf of Shueisha, Ioku's actions raised the risk of Shueisha losing its Dragon Ball rights. Toriyama-sensei was also dissatisfied with Ioku being removed, as he trusted him the most. Chairman Maru Horiichi of Shueisha even went directly to Toriyama's residence in Aichi Prefecture, but he couldn't persuade him to stay, said the aforementioned Shueisha insider. This put Bandai Namco, which had been making a fortune with games like Dokkan Battle, in a difficult position. Ioku, who was Toriyama-sensei's spokesperson, became independent, but the rights to the manga were managed by Shueisha. It was unclear who to consult regarding matters related to the original work. Meetings about Dragon Ball were organized very vaguely, with all relevant parties being invited, which subtly included Ioku and Shueisha representatives, making the coordination extremely stressful, said the aforementioned Bandai Namco insider. Toriyama's passing occurred amidst the battle over rights. The discussions continued without the original author, and the disputes have been ongoing and still remain unresolved, noted a Shueisha employee. Some industry executives are looking towards a solution that involves the family, saying it depends on how the family feels about it. The question remains who will ultimately take the lead in managing this massive IP. The future of the bogged-down battle, which is not befitting a shonen manga, remains unclear. Okay. There's a lot there already. And so the big things that you want to keep an eye out for as we continue, because there's actual paragraphs from the article now from CBR that I want to read, is so Mr. Ioku, we need to keep an eye on him. And then there's Shueisha, just the company as a whole. And then obviously Akira Toriyama, who sadly is no longer like a person on the board, I guess you would say. So going back to the article, they say, while these comments are from an unnamed source, Toyo Kezai is considered a reliable outlet. The insider's comments revealed that Dragon Ball rights holders like Bandai Namco were now in a difficult position, unsure over whom to consult about developments. Meetings about Dragon Ball were organized with all relevant parties being invited, which subtly included both Ioku and Shueisha representatives, making the coordination very stressful, the insider says. Toriyama's unfortunate passing complicated the long-standing dispute. Some industry representatives are purportedly looking towards his family to settle it. The insider's words overlap with Ioku's comments over the years, stating that Dragon Ball status quo must be changed, Ioku added. Adopting what is popular at the moment does not increase the probability of success. I will not be swayed by the current trends, but will create works that I feel will be, quote, good enough. This may refer to the insider's account of Ioku's rejection of the metaverse and AI, as seen in the image above. Both have attracted widespread attention, but have often proved gimmicky or unpopular among fans. Okay. So I think the way that most people are like simplifying this and constructing this is essentially we have this. So Akira Toriyama was in the center of like, it's kind of, it feels a lot like Game of Thrones almost, where like, okay, let's say if you watch Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, I think you'll be able to understand what I'm saying still. So you have King's Landing. That in this case is Dragon Ball. All right. Well, okay, so Dragon Ball is the entirety of Westeros, and King's Landing is like who's going to run it. And for a while, it was Akira Toriyama, and he, you know, would give out certain levels of authority to Shueisha, to Mr. Ioku. Bandai Namco obviously holds the rights, things like that. But he was like the creative head. Suddenly, he's gone. And so now you have Shueisha and Mr. Ioku battling to get onto, for if we're going to continue with this example, the Iron Throne that is now empty because of Toriyama's passing. And they're trying to figure out where this creatively is going to go. All right, so Shueisha is essentially the anime studio. So whenever they do like a project, they're the studio that does it. Bandai Namco, once again, is the one that holds the rights. But Akira Toriyama as well, because he was the freaking author and creator of the thing and was pushing it forward. But Bandai Namco was the one who controlled what studio they worked with, who controlled like how the manga was distributed, things like that. and Akira Toriyama was the creative lead. I'm trying to explain it for people who have never heard of like this type of talk before, and they're trying to piece it together. So Mr. Iyoku is who most people are siding with right now, if they're picking a side at all, because as it says in the magazine from this person, this unnamed anonymous person at Bandai Namco who they were talking to, according to them, Mr. Iyoku was like Akira Toriyama's most trusted person. He was the one who trusted him the most, and everything that we've heard about Mr. Iyoku in this story is he is trying to just honor the story that Akira Toriyama had created and the world and the characters, and wants to, you know, do what he feels is right. So that's why he was saying he doesn't really want to delve into AI or just do all the trendy things that everybody else is doing. He wants to do what feels right for honoring Toriyama's legacy and what Toriyama created. Whereas Shueisha, on the other hand, is being a typical business where they want, of course, they want Dragon Ball to continue to be well received and well regarded and everybody to love it, but they also want to capitalize off of that and be like, hey, we want to do these projects, we want to do this and this and this. And so it's really a battle over who now is going to have creative control over where it's going to go. Is it going to be Shueisha, who has been the studio behind it, not the one who owns it, but the studio behind where behind the anime and things like that, or Mr. Iyoku, who was Toriyama's most trusted person in this area, and the one who wants to make sure it follows Akira Toriyama's place. And so it's seeming like now the ball is essentially in Akira Toriyama's family's court, where they can decide, since Akira Toriyama can't, where it's going to go. And so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I feel so bad. We're just like fighting over this as if this is like it is like a product, but I mean, at the same time, like his death wasn't that long ago. It was back in March. Like it's barely been 3 months. You know what I mean? Or 4 months. Like, can we like give it a minute? But no, we have to move forward. And I get it, because Dragon Ball Daima is coming out, so that new project's coming out, so they need to know where they're going to go next. I understand that, but you know, to like be like this, I don't know. I don't think, like, there might be some people saying like, well, Akira Toriyama probably should have like had this planned, like, you know, who should take over. But I don't think anyone expected him to pass away as early as he did. He was still so young. And maybe, you know, Bandai Namco, since they're the ones who actually own the rights, should make the decision. But I do think that it would be best for his family to decide, because they knew him the best. Personally, I just want, as someone who's not necessarily a Dragon Ball fan, over the course of my years, I've probably seen maybe 10 episodes, between 5 and 10 episodes of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, probably in that range. I saw the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, so I'm not the best person to consult about this. I obviously want the brand to continue to be successful and for people to love it and to not be overexposed or diluted or ruined or anything like that. And so I think the right answer is going to be some form of a compromise, but neither party here wants to compromise. And so I think it's going to have to fall to the family to figure out who's going to take the lead, and then Bandai Namco, as the rights holder and the one who's going to be doing business with these people, is going to have to kind of figure out whatever decision the family makes, is going to have to figure out how that's actually going to work. And so it's just a crazy, tragic situation. Tragic in the sense that it's just happened so quickly. And not to say that like none of the parties involved like don't care about Akira Toriyama or anything like that. But it's just like, it kind of feels that way. That we're just like, oh, I want it. No, I want it. Oh, I want to control it. Da 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 da. And it's kind of like we're just like putting getting rid of the motives of the people involved. And so it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. I wish that this were a lot more of a peaceful transition, and I wish that this was something that happened later down the road. But like I said, I understand, because fall 2024, the anime season when Dragon Ball Daima is airing, starts in like 2 months. 2 months. So they don't have much time. So I understand. They have to keep the train moving, but still, this is a tragedy that kind of befell everything. And so I wish they would kind of take it slow. I think the fans would understand. I think everybody involved would understand. But it's just a crazy situation. If you guys know more about Dragon Ball than I do and more about the people involved, once again, like I said, I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball fan. Not that I've disliked anything I've seen, but I've just not seen a whole bunch of it. So I'm not really one to talk. I don't know too much about it. I only really know what I learn for when I when I talk about the stories on the show, and what I hear about from other people. So if you guys do know more, feel free to educate me and everybody else in the comment section. And I'm just hoping that whatever happens, it happens peacefully, it happens smoothly, it happens quietly, and it happens like soon, so that way this embarrassing battle can end. Here's a story from this past week that we didn't have time to fully discuss in this episode. Summer 2024 anime Wisteria Wand and Sword and Shoshimin How to Become Ordinary have had their next episodes delayed by 1 week. No reasons were given for the delays, but both will return next week on August 3rd and August 4th. For more information about these anime and their delays, I'll put 2 articles in the description. Back in episode 212 of the show, we discussed a potential Lycoris Recoil movie that could be in the works, according to a now deleted tweet from a producer. Well, the project has officially been announced, and it's, quote, 6 short movies, whatever the heck that means. And the article I'm using as my source for this story is from Anime Corner, where they say Lycoris Recoil Anime has announced a short movies project featuring 4 short episodes, or quote, movies, about the daily lives of Chisato, Takina, and friends in Cafe Lycoris. Each of the episodes will be directed and storyboarded by different creators, with Shingo Adachi supervising. One of the episodes will feature a script written by character designer Imigimiru. I hope I pronounced that right. The announcement was made at a special program now privated for the anime celebrating its 2nd anniversary, with them referring to the new project as Shoto Mubi, transliteration of the English word short movie. The official X account also shared the announcement along with the teaser image, and we have the teaser image there, and it looks like Chisato's has alcohol. Like I said, it's going to be in the cafe, so I don't think we're going to see like a whole bunch of... I mean, we might see some action, but it sounds like it's going to be a lot more focused in the cafe, just from what they said, versus like an actual like action thing. I'm sure we'll see some action though. A new anime project, which was announced back in February 2023, and it seems like that is not related to this project. Chisato's voice actress, Chika Anzai, shared the following message on her Twitter account, implying that the two are separate projects. And she said, "Thank you for watching. I was happy to chat with Shion Wakayama, Takina's voice actress, and Adachi-san after a long time. The new work is in production. In the meantime, let's enjoy the short movies. Thank you, Sumida Aquarium. Everyone, please make sure to visit." And I think this kind of just makes everyone wonder, like, what is this big project now? Because if this was going to be like if they were actually working on a film, why not just do that instead of these 6 short movies, which by the end of it will probably, when they say short movies, I'm thinking these are like 40-minute, maybe 30-minute at the shortest minute episodes. And if you have 6 of these, like that's over a movie length. So I don't think it's a movie. I'm starting to think that the next big project is another season, like a sequel season. But then I wonder, why don't they just do that now? This is just a weird project. It makes me really interested to see what's going to happen. But now it just makes me wonder, like, what could the other thing possibly be that they've been working on for over a year and they still have not fully announced? But it has the voice actors, because one of my first thoughts was like, okay, well, maybe they're doing a stage play like they always do with these shows. And no, because it has the voice actors. And not to say the voice actors can't work on the stage play, but, you know, it could be maybe a video game. That could be something that we might see, which actually that's not a bad guess if I say so myself. I don't think it's a movie because the stuff that this short movies project is going to be bigger than a movie. Maybe not in scale, but in terms of length, it will be. And so really the only things that I can think of are like a video game, like a visual novel, or like maybe a mobile game or something like that, or another season of the show, which I'm hoping it's another season of the show because I don't really play games that much, especially anime games. So I'm hoping that that's the case. But this short movies project itself sounds interesting. I mean, I like these characters. I wasn't like the biggest fan of Lycoris Recoil. I know a lot of people had it like in their top 5 anime of that year. And I was like, yeah, it was good. And had great animation, really likable characters. I remember liking the music, but I mean, it wasn't something that really stuck with me. But a lot of people did. And so that's cool. It seems like they're going to do more of a slice of life thing where they say, you know, the daily lives of Chisato Takina and friends in Cafe Licorico. So it sounds like, and especially this image that they released, it sounds like this is going to be like a slice of life more type of thing. Which, hey, I love slice of life stuff, so I'm down for that. But I wonder if that's going to make if that's going to be something that makes a lot of people not interested, like if it's not the action element of it. It'll be interesting to see where they go with this. They haven't released too much information on what it's going to be about. They said that it's going to have a bunch of different creators involved, which that's interesting. Which does make it feel like it is going to be a bunch of short movies, because if it was going to be like a series or something, you might have like one creative lead on all of them. They said it's all supervised by the same person, but they said like each episode has a creative lead that's different. And so I don't know where this is going to go. And so it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I don't know when we're going to get this. I would assume, you know, they already released an image. I would assume probably sometime in the next year, maybe like a year from now in summer or maybe fall. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. Another thing that they announced for Lycoris Recoil is this. A1 Pictures has announced that it is launching an NFT project for its original anime series, Project Lycoris Recoil. According to the studio, NFTs will be composed of materials that are intermediate production media. Part of the earnings will go to the production staff. The Lycoris Recoil NFTs will be sold in an auction style starting at 2,500 yen per item. Bidding will begin on July 24th and will end August 24th. The pieces are now live on a special page on the SNFT website. Some of the items auctioned as NFTs include raw sketches, animation director corrections, background art, aesthetic visuals, and even rough video clips before it was exported finally for a scene. And then we have this image. Now, here's the thing. Haven't we already talked about NFTs? Like, this is like I thought we moved on from this as a society. Like, NFTs are dumb. They're digital, like, quote unquote, exclusive artwork, and then someone else can just screenshot it and now they have it. Like, this is just it's a stupid thing. If this is the big project they're talking about, that's embarrassing. But anyways, I figured I just had to mention that. I couldn't resist. Here's a story from this past week that we didn't have time to fully discuss in this episode. Shueisha's website has revealed that volume 38 of the Hunter x Hunter manga is set to release on September 4th. This, as well as the news that came out after of author Yoshihiro Togashi teasing multiple new chapters, potentially up to chapter 416, that he's been working on, leads many to assume that there will be enough material for a 39th volume in the near future. For more information about Hunter x Hunter and its return, I'll put an Anime News Network article in the description. Usually we try to avoid scandals and crimes on this show and mainly just stick to the industry and community side of things, but I just felt like I had to talk about this story. So a little disclaimer, if you're sensitive to this type of discussion with death or potential suicide or things like that, you can skip to the next topic. But apparently a former Kodansha editor by the name of Jung Hyun Park has just been sentenced for murdering his wife. And the article I'm using as my source for the story is from Anime News Network. And because of the sensitivity of this topic, we're going to talk about it. We're going to read the article, we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to get out of here with it. I don't want to spend too much time on it just because it's not a pleasant story, and I feel like the article for the most part speaks for itself. And I don't think I need to give too much commentary on a story like this. I think we all have the same opinion. Okay. So I'll read the disclaimer first. Warning, this article contains statements about a possible suicide. If you or anyone you know is suicidal or having suicidal thoughts, please reach out to a suicide prevention organization in your country. In the United States, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available by calling 988. In Japan, Lifeline service is available at 0357740992, and an English counseling service is available at 0345501146. In Canada, Crisis Services Canada is available at 1-833-456-4566. Then the article actually begins where they say, the Tokyo High Court upheld the Tokyo District Court's conviction and an 11-year prison sentence on July 18th for Jung Hyun Park, a 48-year-old former assistant editor-in-chief of Kodansha's morning magazine and former editor of Kodansha's Besatsu Shonen magazine, for the murder of his wife. The judge commented that the defense's claims that Park's wife had committed suicide were unlikely due to inconsistencies in Park's testimony. Park fatally strangled his wife, then 38-year-old Kaneko Park, in the early morning of August 9th, 2016, at their Sindagi home in Bunkyo Ward of Tokyo at around 2:45 a.m. The same morning, Park called emergency services and told them that when he arrived home, he found his wife collapsed at the bottom of the stairs near the first floor entrance to their home. She was rushed to the hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. In a statement that Park made after the death of his wife, he claimed that his wife had killed herself, but an autopsy allegedly found signs of strangulation on Kaneko's neck. The Tokyo District Court had handed down a guilty verdict to Park in a trial in March 2019. A key piece of evidence in the trial was saliva mixed with blood found in Park couple's bedroom, seemingly contradicting Park's claim that his wife Kaneko had committed suicide. The Tokyo High Court upheld the decision in a trial later in 2021. Park claimed that these trials, that the blood found in the bedroom was supposedly due to Kaneko acting unstable while holding a knife. Park claimed that he had tried to hold her down before he moved to another room. He claimed that a short while after that, Kaneko committed suicide. The Supreme Court ordered this newest trial in November 2022 after deeming some of the evidence related to Park's claim of his wife committing suicide were not properly examined. In the latest trial, the court further determined the unreliability of Park's claim of Kaneko's suicide when he did not inform the emergency services that arrived at his home of the supposed suicide, only claiming that his wife committed suicide after this. Park intends to appeal the decision. Park was part of the staff that launched Kodansha's Besatsu Shonen magazine in 2009, the home of the Attack on Titan manga. He was also a former editor for the Seven Deadly Sins manga. Okay. So, I hope that this isn't true just because it's just so sad. So I hope that it's not true. Obviously, he had a big career in the manga side of things. Obviously, he worked for Besatsu Shonen magazine and helped launch it, which was where Attack on Titan, the manga, was. He was also a former editor for the Seven Deadly Sins manga. So, like, he was a well-known, well-respected figure in this industry. And, you know, just to think about, like, that, I don't understand how stuff like this happens. I don't understand how people do this. It just doesn't compute with me ever. It's a tragic situation. Obviously, if this isn't true, which it seems unlikely, as the judge said, that this isn't true. But if it isn't true, then I do hope that comes to light. But with the vast majority of the evidence in the favor that it is true, then, in my opinion, an 11-year sentence is not enough. I don't know how you murder someone and you get an 11-year prison sentence for that. That does not make sense to me. Oh yeah, let's just put him back out on the streets. Yeah, that'll be fine. That does not make any sense. But hey, you know, I think we all probably have the same opinion about this. And I'm just getting upset talking about it and thinking about it. It's a tragic situation, what happened to his wife. Yeah. Here's a story from this past week that we didn't have time to fully discuss in this episode. The Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro manga has officially ended after the release of Chapter 154. The ending, featuring the graduation of the characters, was met with a mixed online reaction, with some sad that the manga has ended, with others celebrating the news. For more information about the Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro manga, I'll put an Anime Corner article in the description. As AI continues to grow and advance, it needs more information to evolve, which has led to many instances just in the past year of companies scraping AI or anime without permission. And it looks like it happened again. So the article I'm using as my story, as my source for this story, is from Anime Corner. Sorry, that last topic is still just. Anyways. The YouTube channels of Netflix Anime, Aniplex USA, and G-Kids are among the numerous YouTube channels whose videos have been scraped by AI company Runway. 404 Media shared a redacted massive spreadsheet detailing YouTube channels the company used to train its AI video generation tool, in spite of this being against YouTube's terms of service. In addition to these, other anime-themed channels mentioned in the document include well-recapped channels like Anime Recap Time, Recap Kun, and Anticlimax, as well as an anime-centric video essayists like Mastar and Anime Philosopher, Animens, Piano Sheets, Anime Luna, Utoi Anime Talk TV, and Anime Select were also seemingly scraped, as their channels were tagged with anime. Apart from YouTube channels, it has been reported that Runway's AI also scraped an archive.org page featuring several Studio Ghibli movies, as well as several pirate sites, including Aniwave, Anime Suge, 9anime, Aniwatch, and the iteration of the now-defunct Kiss Anime. A number of independent animation channels were also affected. Google had previously warned OpenAI against using platform's videos to train AI model Sora, stating that it would be an infraction on the platform's terms of service. From a creator's perspective, when a creator uploads their hard work to our platform, they have certain expectations. One of those expectations is that the terms of service is going to be abided by. It does not allow things like transcripts or video bits to be downloaded, and that is a clear violation of our terms of service. Those are the rules of the road in terms of service of our platform, YouTube CEO Neil Mohan told Bloomberg. 404 Media reports that an anonymous former employee of Runway revealed that there was a company-wide effort to compile video information at spreadsheets that would be used for AI training. The company then mass downloaded the videos using readily available YouTube download tools, specifically YouTube Download. It was also employed a proxy service in order to avoid detection by YouTube when it was downloading multiple videos. The channels in that spreadsheet were a company-wide effort to find good quality videos to build the model with. This was then used to input a massive web crawler, which downloaded all the videos from all those channels, using proxies to avoid getting blocked by Google, the former employee told 404 Media. While it hasn't yet been verified whether all these channels' videos were used to train Runway's AI model, it is worth noting that the channels were categorized under tags, which could be used as prompts whenever a user wants to generate specific style of an AI video. Runway, which raised millions of backers, including NVIDIA and Google last year, has not issued a statement on the topic. Okay. Yeah, so we just have, companies continuing to like break the law and be secretive about it. I don't know if it's necessarily breaking the law, but breaking the terms of service, stealing content from a website, stealing it from creators who don't know, so that way they can like copy it and replicate it. Only getting anime stuff from AniTubers and from piracy websites. Just crazy. And then, they're going to be like, this is so that way we can make animation better and make it easier for animators to use as a tool. Yeah, okay, whatever. Y'all know my opinion on AI at this point. Y'all know my opinion on the scraping. This is crazy. This needs to stop. We need our government to put in legislation against that limits AI and what it can do in the learning process, as well as the you know, I don't know what you would call it because it's not a creative process because it's not creative. It's a freaking algorithm. You know, the process of it making things. We just need to find a way where we can stop this, where it stops stealing from creators and stops replacing creators. Because it's stealing from creators to then replace creators, because businesses are going to see this and be like, oh my gosh, we could save money on all these animators because we have this tool that can do all of it without having to, like, it's stupid. This is stupid. It makes me so upset. This is why I said this is a sad episode of the Otaku Experience. This is not good. This does not make me happy. And there's fuzz on my desk and I'm looking at it right now and it's bothering me. But anyway, yeah, this is just stupid. We need to do something about this. I say we as if like I have the power to do something about it. I mean, you know, as an American citizen, and we like to think we have this concept of democracy. You know, I guess I could like call like my Congress. I think I have a congresswoman, so I think I can call her. She won't answer, and she probably won't care. But you know, whatever. You know, it's you know, hey guys, come on, let's get together and fight this. Here's a story from this past week that we didn't have time to fully discuss in this episode. The Boys Abyss manga ended this past week with its 183rd chapter. The manga began in February 2020 and now has 1 million copies in circulation. For more information about Boys Abyss, I'll put a My Anime List article in the description. Here's another story from this past week that we didn't have time to fully discuss in this episode. The Adult Swim anime Uzumaki and Lazarus have finally gotten release dates. Uzumaki is released for a September 28th release this year, and Lazarus will be released sometime in 2025. For more information about Uzumaki and Lazarus, I'll put 2 articles in the description. And with that, it's time to take a look at the Summer 2024 audience rankings from this past week. So, starting out with the anime trending audience rankings, at number 1 we have Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian, which has spent 2 weeks at number 1. Oshinoko Season 2 has spent 2 weeks at number 2. My Dear Friend Nokotan has spent 2 weeks at number 3. Too Many Losing Heroines is a new entry into the top 10 at number 4. Days with My Stepsister goes down 1 spot to number 5. Pseudo Harm goes down 1 spot to number 6. The Elusive Samurai goes up 1 spot to number 7. 2.5 Dimensional Seduction goes down 1 spot to number 8. Shoshumen How to Become Ordinary drops 3 spots to number 9. And Wisteria 1 Sword goes down 1 spot to number 10. Going over to the Anime Corner rankings where we're in week 4, we have Oshinoko at the top, going up 2 spots to rank 1. We have My Hero Academia Season 7 popping back into the top 10 after like a long time, or at least it feels like that, going up 17 spots to number 2. Days with My Stepsister goes down 2 spots to number 3. Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russians goes down 2 spots from number 4. Our Last Crusade, The Rise of a New World Season 2 goes up 17 spots to number 5. Wisteria 1 and Sword goes down 1 spot to number 6. Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest goes down 1 spot to number 7. My Dear Friend Nokotan goes down 1 spot to number 8. 2.5 Dimensional Seduction goes up 3 spots to number 9. And Too Many Losing Heroines goes down 2 spots to number 10. Heading on over to the Japanese ratings, where they take a look at the Kanto region, which has about 45, something around there, million people. And this shows us essentially what the Japanese audience is watching. So at number 1, always, we have Detective Conan, which has an average household rating of 5.8. My Hero Academia Season 7 with 3.2. Doraemon, 3.1. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 3, 2.9. Crayon Shin-chan at 2.5. Kinukuman Perfect Origin Arc at 2.2. Wonderful Precure at 2.0. Animated Osaru no George, 1.5, Oshiri Tante 1.4, Oshiri Tante again at 1.3, and Gigantosaurus Season 3 at 1.3. Something that's interesting and you notice is that the higher ones up here are the have longer episodes. Like all the ones at the top have 30 minutes and everything below has shorter length. Now this obviously doesn't affect the household rating because this doesn't show how the time that people watch it, but rather the percentage of the population that had it on. But still, I just think that that's interesting. It looks like more people are watching the actual shows rather than like the longer episodes rather than watching the shorter stuff like Curious George, which you'd think would just be on in the background, but is what it is. And now we're going to move on into hopping into your comments and questions from the last episode. If you'd like to have me respond to your comment or question in the next episode, just hop into the comment section below and literally leave your thoughts on whatever, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. All right, so first we have Eli Craig 2601 who says, I think a secret code to get into anime is to watch anime movies. It's a lot easier to enjoy a 2-hour movie over a 26-episode TV show. There are so many great anime movies that have different styles and have a strong artist stamp. It certainly helped me get into anime. I got the first Slam Dunk and The Boy and the Heron on Blu-ray recently. Both look great and are fantastic movies. What's your favorite piece of anime physical media that you own? That's a good question. Well, first, I just want to say, I think that is a good recommendation. For those of you guys who didn't see it, last week we talked about how to get into anime if you're new to it. I talked about getting into movies, but I had that as something that you would do maybe like a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think anime movies are a little different from anime themselves because they're so much shorter and oftentimes they don't have the same tropes and things like that. So I think I would still say watching the mainstream anime is the best thing personally, but I do understand your thought about that, and I kind of agree to an extent. My Blu-ray or my physical media that I own, is it like, are you talking specifically like DVDs or Blu-rays? Because I can go get something. Hold on. I think now Avatar: The Last Airbender does not count, but I have that. I think the biggest thing is probably my Weathering with You Blu-ray. That's probably it. Mostly because this is the only thing I have. Everything else I mainly watch on digital, but I bought this because I heard about it and I just watched Your Name and I loved it and I wanted to see this. And obviously you guys know I love this even more than Your Name. So there's that. Another thing, like just physical media as a whole, my favorite thing that I own that is any type of physical media, the books are going to fall over, is my Sword Art Online Platinum Collector's Edition Bible. So inside of this thing, there are, I got to take off the slip. There are 2 books in here that cover, they split Sword Art Online up into 2 halves. And I believe it goes from the beginning. Isn't this awesome? It goes from the beginning, like the light novels. And so you got this tiny text here and you got the images in really high quality, really nice paper. I've barely used this thing because I want to save it and make sure it looks nice forever for my kids to inherit and then sell because dad's a weirdo. But so this goes through the beginning, Aincrad, all the way through around the beginning of the Alicization arc. And then because the Alicization arc is so freaking long, that takes up like the entire second book, which is crazy. And I forget if this has Moon Cradle in it as well. Ooh, careful. It might. I need to check. But yeah, so this one has a lot of characters and like a biography thing. So yeah, so this has like only Alicization in it. That's how long the arc is. And then yeah, we do go into Moon Cradle here as well. And one of my favorite things about this is whenever they get into a new book, you get like, if I can find one, you get these giant freaking panels about it. I saw one earlier. Yeah, like you get these giant panels of these really nice images and everything's in color. Looks great. Love it. I love this thing. And it comes with one other thing as well. It comes with like this book of, or like this little giant envelope thing. Little Giant, that's what I said. That has more images in it. So this thing, and I believe it's just literally the image of all the light novel covers. And so it starts with, okay, we have that, which has the girls on it. And then we have this, which is the Platinum Collector's Edition cover, but just like this big wide thing that you can put up on your wall, but I don't because I want everything to be safe. But yeah, so here we have all the manga, or the light novel covers. There's volume 1, and it just goes on all the way through the second part of Moon Cradle. And for a while, Moon Cradle was like the last thing that had happened in the story. But over the past few years, we've gotten into what's probably, I would think, gonna be the last arc, at least of the main story. Like he might switch into something else, but we're in this arc now called Unital Ring, which I still haven't read yet, but we're waiting for that to get further before they start doing like an anime adaptation of that, which I'll be very excited to see. And I'll obviously still doing like progressive and things like that because those movies have been coming out. But yeah, so this would probably be of like all the physical anime stuff I own, this, and then obviously my figures, which I love. But anyway, no. But anyway, thank you for asking. Also, I love all my Beyblades. I still have those. And that counts, right? That counts for something. But yeah, thanks for the comment. Then we have Gallagher McAllister. I love that name. Studio Ghibli movies, Paprika the movie, and other anime movies that aren't part of a series are a good start. So basically the same thing that Eli Craig was saying. I think that is one of the benefits, is like watching those shows. My recommendation is always watching something that's shorter. Like one of the first things I watched was like Angel Beats, or just the first arc of Sword Art Online, like 12 episodes stuff. And these episodes are like 20 minutes, like I think that might be better because you have such a shorter window. Like you can watch a 20-minute episode and be like, do I want to continue it? Okay, yeah. Or okay, no. And you can move on. But I understand. It seems like a lot of people are thinking it should be movies that you start with. So take these guys' recommendations. Then we have David Rose 647 who says One Punch Man should be a film. Maybe. I don't know. I get worried about that. I get worried about live action anime films with certain types of anime because certain types of anime work so well in an anime format. And I worry about how it would be. Like, would it be ridiculous, or would they just not be able to fully do it without having the budget be like $4 billion and then not make its money back? So I don't really know. In theory, it sounds nice, but I don't know how practically that would be. I think like I'd much prefer just like a One Punch Man anime film with like the most crazy animation of all time. Season 3 is coming out soon, and that has Mappa animating it, and it's gonna look freaking fire. But anyways, guys, that does it for this episode of the Otaku Experience. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And if you prefer to listen rather than watch the show, maybe you can't have a YouTube video open when the show comes out, or you just think I'm ugly, you can listen to the Otaku Experience podcast on Spotify. And hey, if you want to keep up with me outside of the show, you can subscribe to me on my main YouTube channel, Kingtanic, where I also make anime content, but in a less serious and professional way. You can follow me on Instagram at Kingtanic, or follow me on Twitter at Kingtanic Israel. And if you're new to the Burnettwork, consider sticking around. We have some great shows for you to watch every week, most of which are hosted by the one, the only Robert Meyer Burnett, who's actually at Comic-Con right now. He had a panel for his audio drama, True Noir. So I think that was pretty exciting. Yeah, Chris Carr was there. I think Taylor was there too. It was a lot of fun. I say that like I went, but it looked like a lot of fun. And with all that being said, guys, this episode comes to a close. I will see you all next time.